Multiboard is coming crashing into my workspace. Now I could have used an off-the-shelf solution like pegboard to solve this problem instead. It's cheap, it's available everywhere, it works. So why didn't I? 3 reasons. First, Multiboard is free. There is a paid upgrade, but it's mostly quality of life features like stacked plates or pre-built packs, that sort of thing. You don't need that. At its heart, Multiboard is free to anyone who wants to download the files and print them at home. Second, it's fully modular. You can download whatever you want, print whatever you want, in any shape, in any colour, to match any form that you need. To build a system that works for you around your tools, instead of forcing your tools into somebody else's system. And third, if I'm being completely honest, I just wanted a ridiculous, over-the-top project that required lots and lots of printing, so I can put my new Bamboo Labs P2S to a real test. So think of Multiboard like Gridfinity, but for walls. Here's the catch though, it's a massive system. Plates, rails, snaps, beams, bins, brackets, the ecosystem is huge, and when you dive in, it can feel overwhelming. So the initial project excitement can quickly turn to confusion and then a hard stop. So in this video I'm going to break down some of the basics and show you how I designed the wall that's behind me, and hopefully give you a bit more motivation to get going with your multiboard project. But before we start printing a wall, I just want to say a big thank you right at the top of this video to Anycubic for supplying all the materials to print the wall, and for Bamboo Labs for supplying the P2S, which printed it. Okay, let's build a wall. First step, let's strip it all back to what actually matters. At its core, Multiboard is simple. It's all about tiles. Tiles are the structural foundation of Multiboard. They are what you attach to your wall or your pegboard using custom brackets if that's your jam. And everything else slots into or attaches to this fundamental part. Fundamentally though, tiles are just a really clever solution. Not only do they attach to wall and things hang inside them with snaps, but each one of these little inserts and holes here is actually threaded too, so you can have more structurally solid threads that attach into the multiboard too, which just makes the system much stronger than relying on gravity to do the work for you. Another neat thing about the tiles is each one of these holes is centered at 25mm, so it makes it really easy to design parts for it and easier for my tiny little non-mathsy brain to plan out and measure things. But if the tiles aren't solid, nothing else works. I know this from experience after printing the first part of the project on my Anycubic Cobra 3 V2, and if you haven't seen that video, check it out because I learned a lot. But one thing was really clear, even after just the first print, this wasn't going to be a simple weekend project. Each tile takes nearly 4 hours to print, so when you're covering a wall that's nearly 2.5 meters squared, that adds up fast. So before I could even commit to the layout, I needed to be confident the printer I was using could handle repetition. Proper repetition. And that was why it was the perfect test for the bamboo. But we were talking about tiles. Mounting wise, you've got 2 options. You can flush mount, that's when you mount them directly to the wall with no gap. Or you can offset them using specific spacers, which allows you a little bit more space behind the tile for doing things like cable management. But I probably didn't spend long enough thinking about this right at the front, and once you commit to a system, you've really got to stay in that lane. And with hindsight, I don't think the offset gained me anything, as flush mounting's a bit stronger. I can now channel my cables behind though, so easy come, easy go, it's up to you. It's a modular system after all. With that decision made, you can start looking at hooks, bins, drawers, tool mounts, bins, shelving. This is where Multiboard stops becoming a system and starts becoming your system. And that's the bit that really hooked me. Before you print anything, and I mean anything, use the Multiboard planner. I didn't at first because I'm an idiot and I don't read instructions. I thought I could just browse the parts library and work it out as I went, and I spent way too long doing exactly that. Don't be like me. The planner is a lifesaver, and when you're staring down what eventually becomes 240 hours of print time, clarity really matters. Once you've got your parts list, the workflow is simple. Download the part, slice it, print it, and repeat. Over and over until you're done. And this is where I genuinely started appreciating the P2S. Multiboard parts aren't decorative, they're functional, tolerances matter, and if a tile is slightly off, the snaps either won't engage, or they'll be too tight, or they just won't be as structurally solid. For this entire build, I've printed exclusively in PETG. In fact, I actually haven't printed any other material other than PETG on the Bamboo P2S so far. But despite me having a bit of a rough ride with PETG recently, the profiles in Bamboo Studio were absolutely spot on. No special tuning, no profile tweaking spiral. The P2S handled bed leveling, flow calibration, vibration compensation all automatically at the start of prints. It's an enclosed Core XY printer which at 256 by 256 millimeters was perfect for printing my 200mm tiles, and being enclosed meant the temp stayed stable, which is good because the P2S doesn't have a chamber heater. There are so many reviews of this printer out in the wild now, I'm not really sure what I can add, but what really stood out to me wasn't really the tech of the P2S, it was repeatability. Every tile fit, every snap engaged the same way, and when you're printing the same structural part dozens of times, consistency becomes more important than hype features. A quick heads up though, Multiboard does have some little surprises. There is a correct orientation for everything, so if you're not paying attention, it's easy to cock it up. The tiles fit together really well, but the tops and the bottoms are different. As I found out, let me show you this. I had to do a little bit of manual adjustment on this tile here because I got the orientation wrong and I already screwed half of it to the wall. It's not difficult, but if you rush it, you'll print the wrong file or install it wrong like I did. And if I'm being honest, I rushed it more than once. And for snaps and connectors, it's a pain, but it's well worth watching the guide videos because they do show you exactly what you need to do in a really clear, methodical way. In the end, I ended up printing dual snaps and quad snaps to hold everything together, as well as printing a boatload of heavy weight-bearing snaps too. Subscribing to Multiboard, at least while you're doing the construction project, can be really helpful, because if you subscribe, as I mentioned at the top of the videos, you get a load of quality of life improvements, things like stacked tiles which reduce your print times, or packs for parts that require lots of specific parts, so you just don't need to think about anything. They all just come pre-bundled with what you need, and they just crank through the plates per the instructions and assemble it at the end. It does make it easier. You don't need it, but it does make it easier. And obviously it's nice to support people who are doing this sort of stuff that allow you to access 3D printing for free. Like hopefully this channel, so if you haven't liked and subscribed, then now's a great time. The good news in all of this is while I was consistently fixing my own mistakes and cocking up again, the P2S was consistently delivering away in the background. And then one evening I was done and the wall went up. Except of course, it didn't, because before a single tile could touch the plasterboard, I had completely dismantled my workshop. Every cupboard emptied, every shelf cleared, every "I'll deal with that later" pile dealt with. There's something kind of humbling about realising how much stuff you've accumulated while trying to build an organisation system. Cue a trip to the dump, sweep up, reclaim the space. Only then could the build actually begin. Oh, a quick side note as well. Before I started this project, I went on a bit of a cheap tools for my workshop binge. I was going to make a video about that for the channel, which I didn't end up getting around to, but out of that process came two genuinely brilliant products. First, Bluetooth ear defenders. If you haven't tried Bluetooth ear defenders and you do regular DIY and construction around the house, you really, really need to. They're amazing. These are by Pro Hear and they're linked below. Proper hearing protection, no trailing wires, and I can listen to podcasts, radio and music while I'm drilling lots of holes in the wall. Nice. These are a permanent feature in my tool bag. They were only a few quid and allowed me to mark up through my offset multiboard perfectly. Again, they're in my tool bag all the time now. Perfect. With that done, it was time to lift everything back in place and commit. Screw by screw, tile by tile, the system stopped being an idea and started becoming part of my workshop. And there it was. Not finished, not loaded with tools, just tiles, snaps, mounts, and a place for my filament. Actually, here's another little foible about the multiboard system. If you're really, really eagle-eyed, you may have noticed one slightly over-engineered section on my wall. And that's because these parts here, which hold up my filaments, are not an official multiboard part. I downloaded them from the Fangs. They're great, I'm really grateful to the creator, I'll link it down below. But when I fitted them, they weren't quite strong enough. Listen, there's over 25 kilos of filament here, so I don't really blame them, but it did mean that I had to resort to more traditional methods of install. I drilled them and then screwed them directly to the wall themselves, and they are nice and solid. Sometimes modular design meets traditional engineering solutions and screws win. But standing back, looking at it, that's when it clicked. This isn't just some 3D printed project. This is actually usable. It's taken over 240 hours of print time, used about £5 in electricity and 6 kilos of PETG. But more importantly than all of that, the experiment has worked. The printers in this workshop now no longer just make trinkets. They make actual useful stuff. They've kind of built my workshop itself, which is awesome. And best of all, I didn't have to babysit my printer throughout. In fact, the printer was really boring. And that is probably the highest compliment I can give to any 3D printer. I say this sort of thing a lot, but I want my 3D printers to work like TVs. I don't want to have to tinker with them and do bits and pieces with them to make them function the way I want them to. I just want to turn them on, sit back and have them crank out reliable print after reliable print, and that is exactly what the P2S has done in this project. This isn't really a P2S review. So many people have reviewed this printer now, I don't know what I can possibly add to the mix. What I can say though is that in 240 hours of printing, the only fails I've had on the printer have been these. These were one of 6 parts that printed at the same time, and 2 of which slipped and failed because I didn't put a brim on them. That's amazing. All I had to do to get a successful print for this project was to head to the Multiboard site, download the files I needed, drop them into Bamboo Studio, slice them, hit print, and then come back the next morning and remove them all. If I wanted to, I could check in remotely using my phone or my PC, but there was no SD card swapping, no constant tweaking, no layer shift anxiety halfway through a 4-hour print. When your tools behave, you can stay in creative mode. When your tools fight you, you start questioning the entire project. And when they fight you hard enough, the project just stops entirely. I have made one slight tweak to the printer so far. I added the, frankly, horribly named Big Tree Tech Panda Diaper, which just helps collect all the plastic bits that collect down the bottom of the printer. It's a great tool, it's just got a horrible name. So now the basic core parts of the multiboard is up, and this is where the project starts to get dangerous. I know the system works, I know the printer can handle volume and repeat volumes, and so the ideas are bubbling. You can print multi-bins, custom drawers, tool-specific mounts, shelves. So I'm really asking you now, what should I print for multiboard next? Has anyone watching this video used multiboard and found something that's absolutely changed the way they work? I want to know about it. Please tell me, because I'm going to continue to add to this over the next few months and probably beyond that. Because I genuinely believe now I can print anything, and that shift for me has been really powerful actually. I have got affiliate links down in the description below for all the products I've featured in this video, so if you are shopping, do go check them out. But that is not in any way necessary, because I don't make these videos to generate affiliate income. I do it because I love it. I love making things, I love learning about things, I love getting better at making things, and I love testing out new tech and exploring new printers and doing all that fun stuff. Frankly, who wouldn't? Doing all of that and then having the pleasure to share it with you is one of the greatest things about having this channel, so I'm really grateful for that. I'm also really grateful for anyone who joins in the comments, likes the videos, subscribes to the channel. Particularly if you join in the chat over on my Discord channel, you know who you are all absolute legends. So I will leave the video here and say that my name's been James, this is RisingApe Minis, and I will see you next time.